Hello, my name is Dwayne Allen, and I'm the Master Blender at Big Marble Organics, a local company here in Phoenix that makes the most delicious carbonated beverages. What's a Master Blender? Well, a Master Blender to beverages is what a chef is to food. So today we are going to make one of my favorite beverages, and that is sorrel. You may know it as hibiscus. You're growing it in your garden, and we're going to walk through how to make one of the most delicious beverages with that hibiscus. Okay, so to start with, we've got all our ingredients gathered up. We've got some hibiscus from your garden, we've got some fresh ginger root, we've got some organic cane sugar, and some Jamaican allspice. So the first step is we take the calyx and we're going to pull those apart and just pull them, separating them from the bulb that's in the center. And that leaves us with these wonderful little flowers, or the calyx of the hibiscus. We're then going to dry these, and in their dried state, they'll look something like this, and then they're absolutely ready to make sorrel. So next, we're going to prepare our ginger root. We're just going to take this ginger root and chop it as finely as we can into tiny little bits, and do a nice rough chop just to get the ginger down to some manageable pieces, right? And remember, whenever you're using sharp knives, be sure to have an adult present with you to provide some supervision. So now that we've got our ginger chopped and ready, we're just going to go ahead and just gently work it into our hot water. Again, be careful, we don't want it to splash too much. All right, so now that our ginger is ready and our water has been to a boil, we're just going to pour that right over top of our dried hibiscus flower. Think of this as the way you would if you were making a tea. Okay, so now that we've got our hibiscus and our ginger in the steeping bowl, we're going to go ahead and add our Jamaican allspice. They are really wonderful. They add a lovely, warm, spicy note to the hibiscus. Some people describe the experience of allspice as almost like a cross between cinnamon and clove. So it also adds a lovely aroma. We can already smell it coming up out of the steep that's going on here in front of us. We are going to want to let this steep for a minimum of 8 hours, maximum 72 hours. So it really depends on how much time you have. The longer you let it steep, the more robust the flavor will be. So we're going to let it sit on the countertop for probably about maybe 30 minutes or so, just to let some of this heat evaporate. And then once it's cooled down enough, we'll put it in the refrigerator so it can sit for that 8-hour period that we talked about. Now, before we go any further, let's take a trip out to the garden to see how we grow this hibiscus.
Hi, welcome to my garden. My name is Melissa Peoples, and today we're going to plant some roselle, also known as Jamaica, hibiscus, Jamaican sorrel. It goes by a lot of different names, and I've been saving these seeds for a couple years now from my plants from the previous year. And so I like to do this in April when the soil's really warm and it's hot, because this plant loves the heat. I'm going to plant it near my irrigation because I want it to get lots of good water. And it's not difficult to plant. Just want to dig a little hole about a ½ inch deep and put one seed in each hole. I planted 4 seeds, but I just want 2 plants here in the end. I'm maybe planting more than I want right now, but it's easier because sometimes they don't always come up. And it's easier to get a good head start, and we can always take some plants away, but it's hard to keep planting over and over. And the reason I only want 2 plants here is because these roselle plants get big. They're basically a small shrub. So they're in the middle here, but they're going to get about as wide as my arms. And so I have an automatic water. If I didn't, I'd want to water it daily until the plants come up and make sure it's really saturated. And then come the fall equinox, it's like clockwork. It's a calendar plant. But that flower, the base of it is a plant part called the calyx. And that calyx gets really fleshy and really big, and that's the part we harvest and eat. One interesting fact about roselle is the seeds look a lot like red blood cells. And what's fascinating about it is they actually are a really great plant for your blood. It allows the blood to flow really well and sort of lowers blood pressure. And so it can be something very medicinal and very good for heart health. And it's really fascinating when plants look like the thing that they help with and do good for your body. And so this is one example of that. So really good luck with your planting. It's a really easy plant to care for, so I have faith that you're going to do a great job at this. And so I hope you enjoy the drink that you're making from this wonderful plant.
Thanks. I hope your hibiscus grows as well as these have. Now, something that I like to share is that the length of time that you allow for this to steep really is going to determine how robust the flavor is. Now, it could be a matter of preference. Do you like your sorrel to be really hibiscusy and very intense in flavor? Then you let that steep for the longer period. If you want something that's really just crisp and fruity and lighter, then a shorter steeping period would be fine. Okay, so now that our sorrel has finished steeping, we are going to pour it through this sieve. And what we're trying to do here is just to separate the solids from the liquid. And you can see how wonderful that color is. Okay, so it's time to sweeten your sorrel. It's completely up to you to determine what level of sweet you want. Let's just go ahead and add maybe just 2 of these large spoonfuls, and then we'll just go ahead and give it a stir. And we're going to stir until we can feel that the sugar crystals have been dissolved. So now that we're finished steeping, we've sweetened our sorrel, and it's been chilled down to a nice cold temperature. We're ready to serve and enjoy. So we're just going to pour in a tall glass over ice, just like so. You can smell that. So sorrel is very important to me. It's a significant part of my Christmas tradition growing up in Jamaica. My grandma made this for us every Christmas, and I have memories of the entire house just smelling of the perfume of sorrel. Now, the history of sorrel goes all the way back to the African continent where this plant originated, but you can find it proliferating across the Caribbean, Central and South America. So many different cultures across the world enjoy sorrel. If you are familiar with the drink called Jamaica, if you've gone to a Mexican restaurant and have enjoyed Jamaica, it's the same thing. It's just prepared just so slightly differently. So we like to joke about ours being a Jamaican-style Jamaica. It's very delicious, highly recommended, especially around the holidays. And now it's ready to be enjoyed. Cheers.